Now, let's get to the juicy part right here where all this adds up. Because I did the homework and because I use AI, I embrace AI, I teach with AI, I do this for a living, okay? This is what I do for a living. Not saying specifically this. I'm just saying, guess who's back? Guess who's back? Maestro's back. Welcome back. What's up, y'all? It's been a little while since I've posted, mainly because I'm going through my own trials and tribulations, no pun intended. But I felt like it was time to get back on it, get back on the horse, giddy up, giddy up, giddy up, you know what I'm saying? And get back on sharing my story, but also some of my strategy with you all, so that way you can potentially avoid some of the pitfalls and mistakes that I've made, as well as maybe get a leg up on your situation, on your case, or maybe you don't even have a case yet and you just want to get a little insight or get ahead of the game before it potentially does happen. That's what this channel, Preme Preggo, is all about, is giving you all the tools, the inspiration at times, the strategy, the information on what you could do to either avoid getting into a family court scenario, right? Being set up, or mitigate a family court scenario after you get set up for the okie doke. Now, this is not for the folks out there, for the men who are just on that BS that you put yourself in a bad situation and you don't want to take responsibility, accountability of that. I'm not here to talk to you all about that, all right? That's a whole different channel for somebody else that wants to preach that message. What I love to do is help people who hold themselves accountable, who want the information and will take action on the information. And see, the problem with our culture, especially here in America, when it comes to men, and this is not me downing on men, this ain't me trying to talk ish about you, but the big problem is we've been subjected to so much femininity, for lack of a better term, that there are a lot of men who, quote unquote, now I'm going to use the term because I am a man, who won't man up or can't man up. Now, don't think that I'm saying that the same way a woman would be saying it, that is trying to use that to hurt you, trying to use that to abuse the powers, trying to use that to get under your skin. As I mentioned before, I'm a man, and I'm telling you that there was even a time that I didn't man up when I was younger, in my younger years. I'm 38 right now at the time of this video, and I can say there were times in my 20s that I didn't man up. So if you're in your 20s or in your 40s, it's not too late. Now, here's the reality. For men who are in their 40s or 50s going through this is probably not the channel for you. I'm not saying that you can't be helped, that what I'm speaking on can't give you a leg up or can't help you. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is typically when we're in our 40s and 50s, we've been there, done that, got the t-shirt, we should know better by now. And we're typically pretty stubborn at that point, right? And I know that because I'm in my late 30s, getting ready to hit my 40s, I'm probably going to get heard by those who are younger than me, because we typically don't want to listen to people who are younger than us. So that's why I'm glad that I'm finally getting ready to hit my 40s, because I can talk to the 20-year-olds in the early 30s. Heck, even some teens, right? Because some of y'all need to hear this information. But for the most part, I want to help those who want to be helped, who aren't just complaining for the sake of complaining. You have a right to complain if you have valid justification behind that, a valid reason behind that. If you don't complain in certain circumstances, you're not going to get heard, especially if you're a man. Now, when it comes to complaining for the sake of complaining and you have no validation, you have no real reason, you know what you did and you know you did wrong and you're complaining, that's a different topic. That's a different story. And I'm not here for that. But the thing is we all have an opportunity to do something different. We all have an opportunity to grow until it's too late. Till you are 6 feet under, you have an opportunity to grow and get better at what it is you're doing, who it is you are, okay? And so that's something that I really want you to take heed, to think about in your mind. Are you willing to grow? Do you will to grow? Do you have the willpower to grow? Because if you're going to go through a case like mine, or a case like people that came before me, that came before you, you have to be in a growth mindset. That's the only way it's going to work, because the family court system is not meant to resolve. I'll repeat this. The family court system is not meant to resolve. You hear this term called conflict resolution, as if it's just one term, one word. And in the family court system, what I have learned the hard way, and I've learned from others that have taught me, is that there's conflict and there's resolution. In the family court system, based on how the system was made, those are two separate things. And the reason why I say that, if they wanted to resolve the issues, they would not have so many barriers put in place before you as a pro se litigant, meaning somebody who's representing themselves, or as someone who is hiring a lawyer. I'm hoping this sinks in. You know what I'm saying? Let it sink in like the Titanic. Like, let it go down deep, because if you don't understand this, you're already setting yourself up for failure. You are cheddar bobbing yourself like on 8 Mile. You're shooting yourself in the foot. I'm letting you know this right now. So you have to understand that there's conflict and there's resolution. And in the family court system, for the most part, I'm not saying this is every jurisdiction. I'm not saying this is every magistrate, judge, or referee, or whatever they call them in your jurisdiction. What I'm saying is, for the most part, there's a term called state actors. Look it up. That is the judge, the magistrate, the lawyers, the clerks of the county. They are all state actors. Isn't that interesting that they're called state actors, like in Hollywood. And when it comes to this situation, the tide raises all ships. So the longer the case goes, the more everybody gets paid. I'm hoping this is getting into your head. The longer the case goes, the more everybody gets paid. All right? All right. So with that being said, when it comes to the family court system, a lot of you all don't have the preparation that you need in order to face them, because they want the case to go as long as possible. They want the conflict. They will incite conflict. They will create conflict. I heard this term, and now this actually came from a woman, and I appreciate listening to this because it was somebody else's channel, and they were doing a reaction, and it was a woman who had said this. Now, I think she was, a woman who likes other women, but that's needless here or there, all right? The point is that I appreciated that she said this, and she mentioned something that I know us men complain about all the time, but because she's dealing with women, she made this complaint. It was the fact that, and I'm paraphrasing her words, I'm paraphrasing now, but she said that it's funny how people don't need evidence to believe a lie, but they need evidence to believe the truth. Like, you have to prove the truth, but people will believe the lie. That hit so hard for me, because I'm like, well, damn, that is a lot about what family court is when it comes to false accusations, for the most part. Now, you can attribute that to other parts of the family court system, but more specifically, false accusations, and the ones that lead to what they call the silver bullet. And if you haven't heard that term, look it up, but I'll give you a quick synopsis of it. Silver bullet is when a person, typically a woman, falsely accuses you of, we'll say, DV, of some type of problem or, abuse, whether it's drug related, alcohol related, child related. They use these different terms. That's why they call it the silver bullet. That when they say this, make up this accusation, this allegation, that's what they would call the nail in the coffin. And you then have to prove your innocence. They don't have to prove their claim. You have to prove your innocence. And that's not how it's supposed to go. You're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. Well, in the family court system, they'll use procedures and formality to make you guilty and have to be proven innocent. That's literally what happened to me. And I'm not the only person this has happened to. But when it was my turn, I got to put that t-shirt on. You know how they say, I've been there, done, they got the t-shirt? Well, I got the t-shirt. That's exactly what happened to me in my case. The mother falsely accused me of alcohol abuse or allegations. Well, one, she didn't falsely accuse me of that. The goalposts moved over time when I started to challenge her lawyer, and the guardian ad litem. Then they started moving the goalpost over more and more and more. It started turning into something new when they had no proof. And even in the guardian ad litem's report, she even said she couldn't substantiate whether the mother's accusations were true or false, because based on the information that she investigated, and they're supposed to be investigators, the guardian ad litem are, she couldn't verify it. But she did take mother's accusations seriously. How interesting is that? Even though she, in her own report, with her own words, said she couldn't really prove whether or not mother was telling the truth or not, because mother didn't give her enough proof. All mother had was her own words, her own feelings. Even at trial, they couldn't prove it. What they used for me in my custody trial was the fact that I didn't comply with a unlawfully ordered. Now I'm saying that it was unlawfully ordered, right? They thought they were gonna try to get one over on me, but an improperly ordered, unlawfully ordered, improper procedure ordered toxicology test that I objected to. And they did it in a punitive manner. What do I mean by punitive? They did it as retaliatory. When I challenged the guardian ad litem's recommendation of giving me time with my daughter that literally made no sense the way that she wrote it, I challenged it. The next day, they filed this toxicology motion. And even though the magistrate herself and the guardian ad litem said they could not find that motion on the docket, the magistrate, the person who was the superseer of my case, ended up, I forgot how to say the term, so excuse me if I say it wrong, sui ponte. Basically, she ended up overriding it. Even though she didn't find the motion, she said, okay, have him take it anyway. I want him to take the toxicology test anyway. Even though mother had no proof that I had harmed my child at any point in time, or that she saw me drinking at any point in time. She ain't never seen me drinking with my child, and even if I was drinking, she's never seen me harm my child. She's never seen anything. She just made these accusations based on an argument that we had a long time ago when I had my child, and she came to pick up my child, and we had an argument. And she claimed to have seen there was a bottle in my trash can. That was what her basis of her argument. And I knew it was coming. I'm giving y'all context because I knew she was going to use that. I left a bottle in my trash can when she came over to pick up my daughter. I left it there. And she asked to go to the bathroom. And she used that because I called her out that night, called her out to go over basically what is our parenting agreement. This was before the courts were involved. My daughter was just born. She's about 6 months born. Not even 6 months. I would say 4 months because she was born in May. So May, June, July, August. We'll say 4 to 5 months. And I called the mother out the night she came to pick up my daughter after she gave me some parenting time. Nothing was wrong with my daughter when she came to pick her up. She was just fine. And because she had past issues with her parents, I'm saying allegedly, because this is what she told me when we were together, so I'm gonna say allegedly, she had past issues with her father being abusive and alcoholic. Somehow that became my potential issue. And I've never had a history of alcoholism. Nobody in my immediate family has had a history of alcoholism. Never happened to me. So you know how people do. They put their feelings together and they start to project, and that's what happened. And I knew that was what was gonna happen. And lo and behold, years later, when we went to trial, that's what she used to keep me from my daughter, to make a conflict, to create something so she can do the silver bullet. I'm not making any of this up. And I'm gonna show you evidence over time why I'm saying what I'm saying. Everything I share with you on this channel is gonna be evidentiary. Well, not everything, most things that I say when it comes to facts. Otherwise, I'm gonna give you my interpretation. And the reason why I'm doing air quotes, because that's what the judge and the magistrates do when it comes to the law. They interpret the law. They don't create the law. And it's so funny how when they interpret it, it goes in the favor typically of the mother or the state when they interpret it, even though the law says this, and you can point at the law and the rules of the court, but it's up to their interpretation. how they see it. And I'm telling you, when they don't want to see it, they won't see it. They'll act like they don't see it. They don't see the truth. They'll literally act on the record, well, I don't see this. That's what shocked me in my custody case in 2025. The custody case, the magistrate act like she didn't see how the mother was contradicting herself, even though I had factual evidence I'm proving to them. I don't see what you're talking about. What are you talking about, Mr. Stevens? That's right there when I knew. I was like, oh, okay. And at that time, I was representing myself. I knew something was up. I knew it. When she acted like she didn't see the contradiction. And she didn't see the contempt of court that I filed in motion that the mother had kept my child away from me when she missed a visitation. And I don't see what you're talking about. I don't see the contradiction. Can't make this up. I'm telling you. And this is stuff I had to learn the hard way that I want you not to have to learn the hard way. But I can definitely say that I did not learn it just by my own, by myself. Now, when I say that, I mean, I did learn it on my own by having to seek out the information, but I won't take credit and say that I read every book and that I didn't watch anybody else's YouTube channel or I didn't look at certain websites. I won't do that. And I want to share with you two specific people that helped me learn some information. I'm gonna give you some channels here, all right? Let me share real quick. Here we go. So this is one channel here that I used to prepare myself for a lot of the BS that was getting ready to rear its ugly head in my life, right? It was Father X, how fathers can win custody. This is a great channel. This set me up for so much understanding and information. And the reason why I really like this channel and I like Father X, now he doesn't show his face on this, but you can hear his voice. And the way he set this up was very linear. I like that, almost like a book. He set it up in parts, right? It was very ordered, and I appreciate that. Not every content creator or YouTuber sets up their channel in an order that you can go from A to Z. And Father X has done that in a dope way, right? So you can see he started about 2 years ago, and how fathers can win child custody. And he goes from there. He does part A, part B, part C. He gives examples. He does a really great job. And I watched all these videos, okay? I studied these videos and used them to help prepare me as a pro se litigant, as somebody who's self-representing themselves in courts. So Father X, really great channel. And recently I've realized that he's taken his channel and then created more content around that, repurposed the content. So now he actually has some things that you can actually buy or you can download. And I love that. And I'm going to tell you why you need to do this. Now, I'm going to take what they did in terms of helping me set up for my strategy. I'm going to help you steer with that joint. All right. I'm going to help you take that to the next level, like soup it up, Homelander style, because they didn't do what I did. Right? And that's how it's supposed to be. I'm supposed to take what they did and they're supposed to take what somebody else did. And, we're all supposed to get better from what the last person who helped us get where we are. That's how it's supposed to be, right? We're passing on the torch. I'm going to show you what I did. But for the most part, I'm giving y'all some insight. You need to download or purchase some of these packets, some of these bundles here, because when you watch the videos, that's one thing. It's another thing when you're able to take this information into documented form, okay? So I'm gonna just share that right there. Now, here's another channel that helped me so much when it came to fighting my case, right? Helped me so much. James here. This is Father's Rights and Resources, right? Father's Rights and Resources. How I got custody. And this is James. Now, James takes a different approach. His approach is not as linear or as ABC order, at least not recently, last few years. But his channel goes way back. So let me refresh this because sometimes it does this. Boom. His channel goes way back, way back. So if I go, let's do this oldest right here. 9 years. James has been doing this for a long time, very long time, which is why when he speaks, you can hear in his voice, he doesn't have time, right?
Ain't nobody got time for that.
All right. He ain't got time for it. Like, the BS, the foolishness, the way that he talks, the way that he practices what he preaches, the way that he shares information. He's been doing this so long that he ain't gonna take you coming with the lily galley. How you say that, lily galley? I don't know. That's some old school verbiage right there, right? The lollygally type stuff. He's not for everybody. He's what I would call a David Goggins approach. If you don't know David Goggins, look him up. He's got that David Goggins approach where he's gonna give it to you tough, rough, no BS, no strings attached, no chaser, right? You drinking that shot, hitting that shot, it ain't no chaser. You gonna hit it, no chaser, hit it raw, pause, right? That's how James does his videos. That's how he speaks in his videos. And I like that. I need that tough approach. Some of you gentlemen out there, you want to get it soft. You want somebody, as Charleston White would say, or other people, my delivery? Oh, we got crazy stuff out here happening, and you want to talk about my delivery. You know what I'm saying? When he was talking to Cam Newton, like, you care about my delivery? We got kids shooting themselves. We got BS happening. We got aliens out here they don't want to talk about. We got things, and you want to focus on my delivery. But I'm telling you the truth, but you care about my delivery. I'm a little bit like that. I'm one of those folks where I ain't got time. I can care less. You can turn the channel off right now if my delivery ain't for you. I promise you. But most of you all who will do that will fail. You're gonna fail. Because the family court don't give a damn about your feelings. And the family court don't care about their delivery. They're gonna deliver it to you, no Vaseline, straight up behind when the sun don't shine. And you can't complain about the delivery. They don't care. So if you're not ready and prepared to get it hit hard with the truth, you're not ready for the family court system. Sit your butt down. Stop. Let them default the mother. Pay the child support or don't. It don't matter to me. I ain't got no dog in the fight, but I am a dog in the fight, if you know what I mean. You hear me? And you got to be a dog in this fight. If you ain't no dog, sit down. Lay, as Martin would say. You ever watch that Martin show? One of my favorite episodes was when I think somebody had stole, I'm not sure if it's a CD player, but basically they were doing a rendition of New Jack City, and Martin couldn't get the real dog. You got to watch it. They got it on, Martin on Netflix now. And Martin couldn't get the real dog, so they had to use a fake dog. Martin was going around the table trying to find out to Pam, Gina, Tommy, and Cole, who was the thief in the room. And he had to use this fake dog. And the dog, since it was fake, he would put it down. He put it down. He said, sit. And the dog, because it was fake, it dropped down to the side. And he said, lay. Some of y'all need to do that. Lay. If you ain't got no dog in the fight. So yeah, father's rights and resources. James is one of the real ones when it comes to giving you information on this, all right? Like I said, he's not for everybody. However, at the same time, I guarantee you most people he's not for are most people who ain't ready for it anyway. And that goes the same with Father X. Now, Father X is different. He don't approach it that way, okay? He has a different tonality. So if you want the best of both worlds, these are two of the channels that you might want to look into. And one day, my channel will be one amongst the few that I think men will be using as a weapon or as a support mechanism in their fight. One day, this channel will be that. Right now, still growing, okay? And James also has a page. It's his flow page, what he calls it. And on this flow page, you can get a lot of free information. I suggest you check this out. Free information here. Let me make this a little bigger. Right? Check out this free information here. And they have no idea I'm promoting their channel. I'm not getting paid for this, and I don't have any affiliation with them. This is just me showing love and sharing the love because y'all need this. I'm trying to arm y'all with the weapons that y'all need, okay? Like, nobody brought me to, that's why I said I did this on my own, but I didn't do it on my own, if that makes sense. Like, nobody told me to go to their channels at all or look at their stuff. I was just seeking information, and I was going to seek on Google, YouTube, AI. It didn't matter. I need to find what I need to find to help give me the information that I needed to win or to get a leg up and prepare myself for a win. Even if I lost in the first go round, I'm still going to set myself up for the win. I'm going to show you what I mean in a second. But this is his site where you can actually buy some of this stuff. I suggest you check this out and actually purchase some based on your situation, based on your case, right? And there you go. So that is some information there that I wanted to share with you. Now, Another place that you need to go. Now, I'm going to give you my jurisdiction, but you need to find out who your jurisdiction is, your county, to be more specific. When it comes to my county, not the county I necessarily live in, but where my daughter lives at, the jurisdiction was Cuyahoga, based out in Cleveland, Ohio. And when you go to the juvenile system, every state should have this, every county should have this. You should be able to go to their website, the juvenile system, whatever it's called. They might call it something different. Mine's called the Court of Common Pleas, right? But they have forms. You should be able to go to their forms, and you can download the forms that are relevant to your case. Custody, child support, whatever. You can download the forms relevant to your case right here. More importantly, you're going to use these as templates. That's going to be the strategy that I'm going to share with you in a minute. Okay? So this is the juvenile. Now, right now, I'm in the appellate court system. Right now, I'm in the process of appealing both the final order for custody and I'm appealing the final order for child support because there are so many errors. There's so many improper procedures. There's so much due process violation. It is obvious, and I'm appealing it all. And most men don't appeal. Most men don't appeal. Most men don't object. I objected on everything I believe was wrong so that way I could set myself up for the appeal. And that's why most men lose appealing. And women too, if this applies to you. Most people lose appeals because they didn't set themselves up. They didn't object. Even if you were going to lose the objection to the overriding judge, who is going to basically, like in my situation, they would give not well taken. They would deny my objections. That's fine. But I objected. So I reserved my right to appeal. I repeat that. Because I objected, I reserved my right to appeal. I have so many objections, and I'm going to show you what I mean here in a second. Okay? But even in the appeals court, mine's called the 8th District Court of Appeals for the state of Ohio. They also have forums here. See, y'all, I'm eliminating your excuses. Well, I don't know this. Well, I don't know that. No excuses. They have the forms out here. They have the forms for you. So you can form your Voltron, right? You can build your Captain Planet. Let our powers combine. You can build your own Captain Planet, your own situation. I'm giving a little jokey joke because I know how serious this can be, but at the same time, it's also a joke. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a joke what they do to us, but it's no joking matter. So I want to give a combination on this channel. I want to give you a little bit of entertainment mixed with that information, right? The entertainment mixed with the education to give you the edutainment factor. Because I believe that y'all need this, right? Y'all need a little bit of that something with a little bit of that something. And hopefully it gives you all a more of a incentive to fight. Because I'm telling you right now, they're incentivized for that moolah. They incentivized for that money. That's why they make decisions. They make decisions because they're incentivized on Title 4D. They're incentivized for Title 4D. That Title 4D money, that's what they want. So I shared with you some ways that you can download some forms. Now, when it comes to storing your forms, I believe that, and I might be missing some factors here, but if you're going to represent yourself, and even if you aren't representing yourself, you need to be able to file, document, and speak. You got to be able to file, document, and speak. If you can file and follow instructions, you can document stuff, like store it in some type of cloud storage. It could be Google Drive, Dropbox, or your own home cloud storage, which I started doing myself. And you can do that well. And you can organize using folders. I mean, this is simple stuff that a lot of people don't think of. Use folders to organize. And you can file. So you can document, you can file. And even on these websites, they will show you, they tell you how you can file online, or they call it e-filing. On both websites, that e-filing right here. Here's e-filing. It tells you how to e-file when it comes to appeals, right? They also have e-file here. I don't know where it is, and I'm not about to go all the way deep into it, but it's here. It's going to be here somewhere. I could probably search it here, but like I said, I'm not going to go deep into it because I really don't care right now. But they tell you how to e-file here as well. There's some things, rules you have to follow, instructions you have to file in order to e-file. So you don't even have to physically go to the building. You can e-file. You just got to know how, because they will deny your filing if you don't do it the way that they need it to happen, okay? That's a key thing you need to understand. But going back to documentation, you need to document. Organize when you document. Don't just throw papers in it. No, every time I get an order, something in, I always scan it in. I use a printer, so you need to buy a printer. Stop using your cell phones because sometimes your cell phones aren't good enough. Buy a printer with a scanner, scan it in, and then file it. That way you have the best copy because it's all this I'm sharing with you is going to add up to what I'm going to share with you here at the tail end of this video. But you want to make sure you organize after you document, and then you follow instructions. And the reason why I say speak is because eventually you're going to have to be in front of a judge, a magistrate. You're going to have to talk to the guardian ad litem, a referee. You're going to talk to somebody, right? If you're representing yourself, even a lawyer, and you want to know how to speak some of the language, speak clearly. That's important for you to do. So intimidation is normal. That's okay. That's okay. I was intimidated. I'm being 100% honest. And I believe I speak really well. I speak for a living. But when you know that you're in front of people that have an incentive to not see the facts, not see the truth, and to hold you responsible but not give you authority so they can drive up that bag, it makes you a little intimidated. It does. It really does. But if you can speak, you have a better chance of winning at some point in time. I can't tell you when you're going to win. I can't guarantee how you're going to win, but you have a better chance of winning if you fight correctly. Now, let's get to the juicy part right here where all this adds up. Because I did the homework and because I use AI, I embrace AI, I teach with AI, I do this for a living, okay? This is what I do for a living. Not saying specifically this. I'm just saying it's what I do within how I make a living. Let me be more specific because I know my opposition could watch this video and they could try to use it against me like they tried in the child support case, right? So I'm just letting y'all know I use this within what I do for a living. Let me be a little bit more proper, you know what I'm saying? Wink, wink. Now, when it comes to that, use AI. Ain't nothing illegal about it. And matter of fact, the opposition can know I use AI. They probably use AI. I don't care. It's accessible. It's even free. The good ones aren't free. Getting the good features, that's not free. But AI at this point is free. It's almost as natural as air. We all have access to Google. We all have access to AI. This ain't no secret. I guarantee you, though, most people still aren't going to use it. And if they do, they don't use it correctly. They're not going to use it like I'm going to teach you on this channel. They won't use it like that. I promise you, 80 to 90% of people will not use AI how I'm going to be teaching you how to use AI on this channel to give you leverage, a leg up, a potential of a win. Set yourself up for success. So when you document everything, right, as you can see here, I have a lot of files in what they call a knowledge base. And the reason why you're looking at what you're looking at is because I use a tool called Claude. Now, I use all of the tools, ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity. They all have their strengths and weaknesses, and I use them all. I promise y'all, I use them all. But the reason why I'm showing you Claude is because Claude has the biggest file knowledge base storage, meaning I can look at this. You can't do this in ChatGPT. You can't do this in Perplexity. You can't do this in Gemini. You cannot add this many files. I'm still scrolling and I'm talking. I put all the orders. I put rules, orders, appeals, separate guides, information that I get from other people's channels. I added all in there, right? The E5, everything, the motion, the forms, the bundles that I buy, I added all in here. So the AI has all the contents and all the context. That way, it's not biased. That way, it's not just trying to side with me based on my feelings, what I say. No. It has all the facts and all the evidence and all the data that it needs to help me write my motions, to help me file, to help me write my appeals, to help me fill out forms, to help me write my objections, my motions. You need this information so that way you have a better chance of being as accurate as possible, because whenever you don't give AI, it's a chance it can hallucinate and make stuff up. And I'm telling you, that's an easy way to lose. That's an easy way to lose, because they're already looking for holes in your story, gaps. Anything they can procedurally say you messed up on, they will take advantage of that. I promise you. But anything that they do wrong and they mess up on, or they neglect, or they do it sloppy, they're gonna fight against that. They're gonna fight you against that. You have to call them out with reassurance, with evidence, with the law, the rules, their own procedural mistakes. You gotta do it that way, or you're not going to win. They will fight you tooth and nail for that money. That alley-oop. The alley-oop, I call it the alley-oop because they will take away your custody rights so that way they can maximize your child support obligation. They will take away your custody rights, your rights as a father, so they can maximize the child support obligation. Meaning they want to give you responsibility of finances, financial responsibility, with no authority of your own child. The person that you are giving finances to, they don't want you to have authority, but they want you to have responsibility. And there's a term that I heard some of y'all might get triggered on. Some of y'all might not. You might understand this. Responsibility without authority is slavery. Responsibility without authority is slavery. That's what they want you to have. That's where they want you to be in the modern day age. So I'm going to teach y'all more about this in future videos, but I want you to see. And if you've liked what you've heard, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment if you have any questions, right? If you have any questions, I'll answer you some questions. This is something that is real passionate, dear to my heart, because of the fact that we have to do all this to win. We got to do all this. And the men that came before me weren't doing this. They had to do some things a little bit more old school. And it's funny to even think that going to the library and Googling things is considered old school these days, even though that's still more modern compared to what we had to do hundreds of years ago, if not thousands of years ago. But now we have AI. So when you combine library information, you don't have to go to the library. You don't have, listen, I'm telling you right now, you don't have to go to the library. It's online. You can go if you want to, but you don't have to. Like now, if you're in jail or you're in prison, that's different. You got to go to the library because that's what it is. And you might get a computer. If you're not in jail, you're not in prison, you have the internet at your disposal. And now you have AI. You have no excuse. None whatsoever. So use these tools. Use the documentation system that I just taught you or showed you and shared with you. Document everything, file everything, and then give it to the AI and put it in a knowledge base. Before you put it in a knowledge base, put it in a cloud storage. So that way, this is your backup, right? If I were you, I would have a physical paper backup. I would put everything in some type of binder, right? Some type of physical case filing system in your home. Then I would also have a cloud version like you see right now, things separated in folders. Then I would take that information and I would put it in a AI filed storage, an AI knowledge base. So you have your physical one at home, you have your one in the cloud, Google or Dropbox, then you have it in the AI. Claude allows you for $20, don't be cheap. Matter of fact, if you're paying child support and you can't afford 20 bucks on this, get off my channel. Get off my channel. Go somewhere else. If you want to fight against child support and you can't afford $20, move. You're not ready. I know somebody just unsubscribed or just got hurt because I said that. Well, Maestro, I'm paying $800. I'm paying $500. I'm paying $2,000. I'm paying $25. I don't have another $20. I can barely. Then keep paying that. Keep doing it. You can't afford $20 a month? You should be happy to pay $20 to Claude, $20 to ChatGPT, $20 to Gemini, $20 to Perplexity. That's $80 because these are geniuses. They're only getting smarter, and your competition and opposition is using them, or they're using the leverage of the system that was made for you to lose. It was made for you to lose, and you can't afford $20 to $80 a month to fight them with these genius tools? You're not ready. Let them default you. Let them settle out of court. I didn't settle out of court. I fought them all the way to trial. I fought them in trial. Now I'm going to the appeals and I'm going to fight them there. My daughter is that important. My baby is that important. She is that important. She means everything to me. Whether she appreciates us one day or not, I don't care. What she's not gonna be able to say is, my daddy did not fight for me. She will not have evidence in that category to prove daddy did not fight. Yes, daddy did, tooth and nail, and it took years. It took a lot of money. The last thing I'm gonna leave you with is because I'm a hybrid. I fought both pro se, meaning without a lawyer, and then at the tail end of my custody case, and at the start of the child support, I hired a lawyer. I hired 2 lawyers. One lawyer I have to take to court because she screwed me over. Then I had to hire another lawyer after that lawyer screwed me over, right? And the one thing I can say after I hired the second law firm, which Cordell, I will be leaving a bad review one day. I hired a prestigious law firm, Cordell, and everything they did, I could have done. Everything they did, I could have done. I thought hiring a lawyer was really going to help me out. It didn't help me out directly. It did help me out indirectly. What do I mean by that? Because the lawyer, now you want to hire a lawyer who you can record, whether it's verbal recording, right? Their words over some type of conversation on the phone or in person, or you can written record them, right? Written document, meaning their email, their communication, text messages, emails. You need to record everything. Do not trust your lawyer for ish. In terms of giving them the benefit of the doubt, record everything. And more importantly, the reason why I did, and it helped me out, was because I got to reverse engineer what my lawyer did. And I did it in a very easy way, comparatively to how I would have to do back in the day. Meaning, when you use these tools, these AI tools like Gmail, Claude or ChatGPT, but I'm telling you Claude's better at this. All you gotta do is turn on the Gmail connector. Now, I'll share with you in another way, another day, how to do this. But I turned on the Gmail connector, turn on the drive, make sure it's connected to the same source that you have the information in. So you might have multiple Google Drives for different accounts. Make sure the account that you're storing your documents in is the Google Drive you're connecting it to. Same thing with the Gmail. Make sure that the Gmail, because you might have multiple Gmails, make sure the Gmail that you're connecting to is the same Gmail that the lawyer is communicating with you at, okay? When you connect this to that, the AI can then pull in all that communication. And then when a lawyer files, they typically will share the filing with you. That filing that the lawyer filed with, you can then give that to your knowledge base. So now you literally have more than a template that you would get from one of these websites here, right? Because they give you some generic templates here, which are good. That's a good start. But then when you have the template from what the actual verbiage the lawyer used, that they use, when you have that verbiage, now you eliminate so much excuses from the courts. Because now you can tell the AI, hey, write me this new motion or file me this appeal or write this brief and do it in the same language, verbiage the lawyer used when they filed this for me. Use the same template that they use what they used, but just make sure it's relevant to whatever you're doing. When you do that, you on fire. Because now you're talking basically like you're the lawyer. You're using what the lawyer did for you as a template, and you're able to use AI to write your draft, basically, for you, without paying tens of thousands of dollars like I did. I paid over 50 grand in totality for all this. I'm just telling y'all right now. Over 50 grand in totality for all this. Everything added up. 50. Easily. 50. Couldn't believe it. Could not believe it. 50. Cash. I had no credit card. Heck, I'm working on my credit report. You feel me? I had no credit. Cash. Charged it with my card. Cash, meaning money I had in the bank. No credit. I didn't borrow any money to pay for these lawyers. Everything came from my hard-earned money. Everything came from me working for myself. That's what I mean by that. Me working for myself. Me paying myself. Working for myself. I didn't borrow any money from family, from friends. No. Cash, no credit. That's why I said I'm in a different league. And I'm still fighting. But when it comes to what I'm willing to do, different league type stuff. But y'all can learn something here. I'm hoping you'll learn something. Give the AI access to your tools, your Dropbox, your Google Drive, your Microsoft inbox, whatever you use, your Gmail. Add your files here. Add your files. As you can see, these are orders. These are journal entries, orders, motions, everything. Everything. As you can see here. This is all that. And because of that, look, I'm gonna share with y'all real quick. How many motions did I file? Can you name all the motions or anything that I filed? Can you name it, please? Put it in a list. And that's it. That's all I want you to do. Now, I'm wondering, should I use Sonnet or Opus? I'm going to use, because I'll use Opus. I'll use Opus, because Opus is a smarter model. Always use the smartest model, right? Always use the smartest model. Do not use the regular model. If you do, you are going to hurt yourself. Use the smartest model when it comes to this stuff. The model that has the best thinking and reasoning capabilities. It'll make sense later what I mean by that in other videos, but use the smartest model, right? How many motions I filed? Can you name the motions or anything that I filed? Blah, blah, blah. Can you name it, please? That's all I want you to do, put on the list. All right, boom. Let's see what we got. Let's see what it says. This is live in front of you. I'm doing this live. I know it's a recorded video, but I'm not going to edit this in order to make a point. This is live in front of you. So see how it's searching the project, meaning searching the knowledge base, the database. It's going to go through everything. And while it does that, I wish you guys the best of luck. Those of y'all who are in the middle of your cases, hey, my heart goes out to you. Even though I'm giving you tough love, we all need it. But at the same time, you know, it is coming from love, right? I'm coming with love when it comes to your situation. I know how it feels. I'm not one of those guys that has a podcast or, you know, that just wants to say what they heard from their friend. I'm somebody who's lived it. I'm living it. I know how it feels. I'm in the middle of it. I'm fighting, you know, and now I can talk about my custody case and my child support case, but I can't talk about my appeal yet because it hasn't happened. But I can talk to you about the whole child support and the custody case because I'm over that part. I'm in the new round, the new phase. Look at this. Look at this. This is all the motions that I filed. Application for shared parenting. I initiated everything. That's why my case is so crazy. It's because I initiated everything and they still screwed me over. Application for shared parenting, motion to modify parenting time, motion for emergency hearing, motion to deny a request for toxicology testing, a proposed parenting plan, shared parenting plan, motion for contempt, show cause, objection to the GAL report, objection to continuance, motion for an extension of time, objection to the magistrate's decision of the toxicology, objection to the GAL fees, a supplemental memorandum in support of objection, motion for psychological evaluation, which they skipped, but I'll get into that later, motion for emergency hearing, motion for relief of judgment, motion for continuance, motion to set aside magistrate's order, preliminary objections to custody decision, supplemental objections to custody decision, motion for transcript, motion for extension of time for transcript, notice of appeal. Look, I filed all of these motions. Now, my lawyer filed, nope, not this, right here. My lawyer filed this right here. That's why it says Vismic. I filed everything else on my own, including my appeal. And that was for the custody. Child support, preliminary objections for child support. I filed this myself. I got rid of the lawyer. After I lost the custody case, I removed the lawyer. Nah, I'm gonna do this on my own. I got enough. You know, I paid tens of thousands of dollars, but now I have a template that I can use and I can help you guys use. And I'm giving y'all this goal for free. Most people will charge you for this. Some people are pissed right now. I'm sharing this with you because it's supposed to be gated behind some type of community, behind some type of paywall. I'm giving it to you for free. Total document 23. 23. All right. So yeah, man. Hopefully somebody's learned from this. Hopefully somebody's gotten something from this, man. Listen, I'm out of wind. I'm about to get something to eat. I got some lamb chops, and I ain't talking about the play along that I gotta make, because your boy like to cook Chef Boyardee style, you feel me? And I gotta get some food in my stomach. But I wanted to do this before I ate because this is the adrenaline rush that I get. You ever had to use the bathroom, like you had to pee, and you knew that, like, if you held that pee for so long, I'm not saying this is good practice, but if you held it, that it was some type of like adrenaline rush it gave you before. Now, sometimes you just gotta go because you don't want to wet yourself now. But you just held it, you're like, ooh, if I just hold it, you just get that, like, I gotta get this done, I gotta do it. Then once I go, I can relieve myself, and that relief feels so much better. Sometimes we need that, you know, especially as men. But yeah, man, I got more videos coming out. Check out videos that I've already made on the channel. And yeah, man, this is Preme Preggo, Lego the Preggo. Peace.